There are dice. I've got a whole tub of them in a room.
Oh, I need the. What is it? I need the emote
That's it.
Adif made. I need the Thirst Dice emote.
The one that he's made for Gdanik.
Yeah, I need that.
It's a great emote.
Just to make
Fantastic well in games. So that was nice to watch. And Gdanik did not coach badly by any means.
No.
He did some nice things as well.
He's a great coach.
And we got I got a shiny new. If you look at the stream, I got some shiny nap shields on my fields.
Oh my!
I think the highlight was the first half of the very first game, where Dio launched at the Dwarf. The Dwarves actually did reasonably well with a tough. There was a kicker on the Vamp team, so that did mean the Dwarves were in a fairly tough position. But we weren't loving the fact they hadn't brought their second runner onto the pitch, meaning they were quite low on both agility and pace against vampires. And of course, the vampires came fast and aggressive right up into their cage instantly, pulled it apart a little bit, and then as soon as that was done, just hypno-cheated their way through for a 2-die on the ball. The first sack also took the runner off the pitch, and then picking it up with a blitzer, it was always going to be hard to make the speed up that you needed to get a touchdown. And the second sack came in, and it all got very, very roughed up. And then a fairly straightforward second half. But the really super aggressive vampire start, it's why, if you win the toss, you kick to vampires.
That was bad, but yeah, in that style, I would say, even with overtime, I'll still kick most times against most teams, but that's...
I've been inviting the vampires straight onto you when they've got rerolls they don't mind burning because it's the first half. Yeah. And they've got a full team to come at you with is not ideal.
So, it's questionable.
No, I don't know where I would see Jerome's Chorf build, Dio. So
it's on, like Donkey Kong.
I mean, the only thing.
Oh yes, for this. I mean, you mean Justicium? I don't know him as Jerome. I know him as Justicium.
Yeah, that's
yes, I have seen it. And the problem is I love Chaos Dwarves, and I would love to love them at NAF level, and they are my only beautifully painted team for NAF on tabletop. The rest are just counters that I've picked up on eBay or dirt cheap. But my Chaos Dwarves have been beautifully painted and are a stunning, stunning team. But there's no Chaos Dwarf team I deeply love. There's no build I've ever looked at and gone, that's the one I would coach. Everyone, there's compromises I dislike.
So I think I vaguely remember Jerome saying that he absolutely hated the Sure Hands build and that's what he wanted to change.
Yes. Look, there's 3 real contenders for any skill on a bull, which is block, break tackle, and guard in my book. I don't love a sure hands bull. I think it's...
But even...
Yes, it pick up probably even on your defense. It's probably that's going to pick up, not a hobgoblin, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's again, it's a sure hands bull.
I can see the merit in taking it though, because it's specifically against Wood Elves where you are no longer looking at the 1-die sack, but it's the half-die, and you have sure hands, so it does nothing. Yeah. The Wood Elves aren't really going to be wanting to leap in and taking those dice, unless they're desperate.
They bloody do anyway.
Well, it's Wood Elves, isn't it?
They won't want to, but they will anyway, and it'll work a distressingly high percentage of the time, no matter what skill you put on the bull. But you can make as clear an argument that a block bull carries just as well once the ball is in hands.
Yep.
Because the block can be a defensive skill too. So 1 block, 1 break tackle I quite like. I know lots of Europeans go with guard bulls. I've seen that do some wonderful stuff too.
Elbow.
I think the Fear from Team Wales experimented with the double guard bulls. I think Dio can correct me on that one.
I've seen it. It does plenty with Italians going that direction.
It's one of the teams where there really is still a big disagreement. British tabletop legend Gegster once said to me at a tournament where I was coaching Chaos Dwarves and I'd taken 1 block, 1 break tackle. And he said that when facing them, he always asked himself, what do I fear if the opponent's got it? And the thing he fears most is 2 break tackle bulls. And I know that level of mobility to get 2 strength 4 anywhere you want them is lovely, but then what do they do when they get there?
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, instant full casualty.
It's
Oh, I love
it's Jerome's mighty blow. Dwarf is continuing from last game, it seems.
Yeah, it monstered the semi-final, if I recall, and it made it sadly a little uncompetitive. So let's hope that this time, despite an early removal, it's not necessarily going to be all one way.
Whiffback, I think
bench, isn't there? So even with one gone,
Yeah, it's alright.
still
at the
pro
end of the
elves.
war.
It's still pro elves.
Yes, I mean they look like dark elves because of the colorings, but they're not.
Yeah, the hair gives it away.
What does Cruz have? No, he does. Does Cruz have double guard on his dome build? I think so.
We were very, very impressed with Nîme l'Ancien in the semi-final as well. He did some lovely stuff using the things like the nerves of steel to hand over in the middle of a cage and rush out of it afterwards. I mean, there was just a creative use of the tools that he had. So
Yeah, but that's the thing about pro elves, isn't it? They can be very dangerous with what tools it is they're given right from the start.
yeah, many of which are suboptimal skills, but
He's choosing not to blitz this time?
They're right. The thing with the skills is the skills that are right. You just don't want to pay for them later. It's like nerves of steel is absolutely fine. You just don't want to pick it.
It's
I can't.
you don't take it in tournaments. Like under no circumstance would you take nerves of steel. Unless the rule set is super weird. Price tag.
yeah, I mean, in terms of the build, I mean, obviously, there is other questions as well. How much guard do you take? Can you squeeze a mighty blow in? What I say about dwarves is always, if really.
And we lost PC in the middle of a dwarf run.
Rip PC.
Much that leaps in and has a go at your ball.
And he's back.
Did I disappear?
Yeah, midway.
Faded out.
Virgin Internets, ever since we moved. In the middle of the night, I get lightning speed. The rest of the time, it's patchy.
It's yeah, dwarves is
Has-
interesting.
Has McNaughty really been experimenting with the double guard builds?
I'm pretty sure I see the Italian people do the same. It seems very Italian.
Yeah, well, the Italians also really like Skaven and really like double assassin dark elves.
Yeah.
Yes. And
I find it very weird.
Styles.
I played against it in what was it, the second round of third round of the Spike Euro Open, and they were like he was protecting the assassins.
Well,
It's armor 7.
They're terrible in that terrible armor.
Yes, but it's like constantly using all of your resources to protect one or two pieces that aren't your positionals, like exposing witch elves instead.
Oh dear, right. Well, yes, that's not something I would recommend.
I mean, he did that to me, and then the first turn I played, it was like, right, so I'm blitzing your witch elf with tackle. Blitz, casualty, you don't have an apo. Great. Thanks.
The nice thing about bull guards, of course, is that you really then obviously can afford a mighty blow beard.
Yeah.
Because you've still got lots and lots of guard.
Interesting to take the Blitzer instead of the Wrestle Catcher.
Geryon, no. They don't skill them. They don't skill the assassins because on NAF Dark Elves, you only roughly get about 5 skills. So you're taking a lot of defensive skills on your Witch Elves and Blitzers and then Leader.
Oh yeah, leap step.
Yeah, you don't get Core started on Leader and his great love for Leader wielding pieces.
Oh, that's brilliant. Cannot wait to have some more leaders.
Yeah, and I'm the Emperor of Prussia.
He makes a very coherent argument that obviously with Leader you then have to protect that piece. And it just means you can be less active with what you do with other pieces.
No, there's 5 to 6 skills. No, it's mighty fine, and especially on your drive, you quite often end up using the leader reroll on the leader doing something stupid anyway.
Classic, isn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, until the last Euroball rules, normally you'll get 6 skills. 5 is pretty new.
Did they get 6 for the World Cup?
It was around the World Cup with the tiers.
Yeah.
Until that, like standard rule pack, tier 1 will get 6 skills.
Yeah. Marzum, the Italians like taking assassins in NAF.
Oh, really?
Because in the Italian meta, you face a lot of Skaven and Wood Elves and Pro Elves. So the stab actually works quite nicely.
I still don't trust myself to be able to roll 7+. I'm just saying.
Well, it's 8+, isn't it?
Yeah, 8+.
Well,
yeah, I don't trust myself to roll more than average. So
Neither do I.
I just don't take it.
It seems too dicey to run with the assassins, because if you're blitzing with them and you fail the stab, it's now based. And if you're not blitzing with it and you're just stabbing regularly and you fail, you're still based. So every time you want to do the stab instead of a block and it fails, then you're based.
We saw in a major on Fumble recently, we saw Dribble and Drool, the paired lizard stars. Star skinks, one comes with Dirty Player and one comes with Stab. That might be the only player I like Stab on, because being a stunty, it can get into cages.
Hemlock
So as
as
an
well.
absolute oh yeah, Hemlock as was.
Yeah.
Well, Hemlock got removed and was replaced by Drool and Dribble.
Yeah.
So as a sort of disposable one-shot, and those pair come at 170 for the 2. So it's not even that expensive a one-shot to dodge it into a cave and stab a ball carrier.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I kind of like that. I just think assassins, it's so hard to get them anywhere useful.
Yeah.
And Nîme is potentially about to dig himself a little bit of a hole with a couple of free hits for Jerome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Stun Dwarf helps a lot.
It really does, and it's a huge contrast here. The Pro Elves really don't want to get hit until the Banzai turn or that moment where they can swamp in and do something wonderful. And of course, the Chaos Dwarves are very good at getting up in the face. This is what I meant about the Khemri game Dome, the third one of the Dome. It's about creating a lot of risk for the Elves. Sometimes you even have to expose them so that they do come and try and attack. Because if they get a couple of pushes, or if they fail on any turn and don't feel they can use a reroll, suddenly you can take a defense apart and really gain the on-field position you want. And I just felt Gdanik missed at least a couple of turns where that was more important than being safe.
Yeah, and Nîme seems to get away with it here. No armor breaks, no nothing. But we still have
This is very, very aggressive, right up in the face with the Chaos Dwarves now. Again, it's that surety of having the strength 4 ball carrier. Again, means sometimes you can take a risk that otherwise you might not like the look of.
I still think Nîme is pretty happy with this. All knocked down, but no removals.
Yeah, and still only 1 elf off the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, considering the amount of hits he was giving up that turn, you've got to be happy if you're Nîme here.
And this might even, if you leave it like this, then you're blitzing one guard and then you're blocking the other guard. Now on the left side.
Yeah, absolutely. You can take 2 more of the CDBs down, which then really arrests their ability to move forwards.
Yep, and it also means you naturally put one of the one that's laying down, so he's not moving anywhere either. If you get the knockdown, you will have 2 Longbeards laying down with 1 elf, which is always what you want.
Yes, ideally.
So you must.
Then they've either got to waste a turn getting their material back active, or they've got to leave it behind.
And it's 2 guard pieces. That will be pretty handy.
So he's created exactly what I talk about here. There's a lot of risk for the elves as well, but it has exposed a flank to some possible attrition, or at least positional attrition.
I'm definitely. I think it's definitely worth. Because it's the only way you can do it. You can hit the Longbeard in the other side, but it's not worth it.
Or to Kaliu. And then if that works, obviously, and even to some degree if it doesn't, I should have an attack on Barthak Maltouche.
Yeah. Or Rattak.
Who
And
knows?
here we go.
Rattak
And the
Maldok.
power works. As we said, that's the... Oh,
I don't like that
push.
angle. But then he follows up. He
Oh, okay, he's going in afterwards to tag the bull. Well, this is the problem with non-break tackle bulls.
See, now I think he's overcommitting to the blocking. Because now he's got 4 pieces on Justicium's left-hand side.
Yep.
Okay, that stun helps a lot, though.
He's
5
going all.
That
He's
is
going.
really useful. Yeah, he's going for the full banzai contact turn.
Yeah, that's now or never.
In that case, oof.
I think it's too early.
Do you take the 1 die on the mighty blow as well? Try and get that one taken down?
Yeah.
Or do you dodge off it?
No, if you go and
It's
contact
not
the rest.
even a 1. Yeah, now it's a 1 die, but that just...
No, if you're setting the rest up, you're taking that 1 dice as well. Like that's. I don't hate that. If you're doing the rest, if you go in contact on the rest, you need to get that one.
Oh, I don't think I'd have followed, but
It's true with the plan. It's kind of, you cannot do this halfway. If you're doing this,
sure. Then you do it.
then you mark everybody and hope.
That means you now mark up the other one as well. And you've got still 1 player back in case he decides to try and blitz through somehow.
Yeah, we leave the wrestle in the middle there. He's on fine spot.
Yeah.
So if your hands go for a run, at least that's 1 free.
Now you can block your way out of this, but
it just takes 1 bad block. That's
yeah.
1 bad block and you're screwed.
at least it's more difficult. Where's the second blitz? That's blitzer. But he also have to cross his fingers for armor holding.
It does so far.
Yeah, you find it stunned.
Yeah, that's not a problem. And particularly you've got the pace to get back up and involved later, so at this point in a drive it's not a worry to have something stunned, particularly out on the edges.
He will lower both down with the mighty blow now.
This is also where the strength 4 ball carrier really, really helps.
I think it will. I think I'm in the camp where the strength 4 will have been better not being the ball carrier. Because that's the, like, if that bull, that's okay. It's either
gets to 30%.
4, 5, 6, 7 minutes. If it's not armor break, I was about to say, it's still a shot at the ball. Well, that's a pretty lucky escape.
Yeah, that's a lovely stun there. And it's a shot at a blockless ball carrier, so
The half die is okay.
half dice is, it's still 70%, so at least not fail.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's 25% to knock down.
That's pretty good.
Unless I'm rolling it, in which case all of those reverse. But yes, it's by pure maths.
If you go with reality versus
Versus
your
experience.
feeling, which the experience, which is at least, which is.
I keep telling you, it's 2020. Feelings are as important as facts. You need to get with the now, Car. No one cares about your facts.
No, I know, that's...
I feel it, it's true.
Your feelings don't care about facts.
Absolutely.
I'm living in Britain after all, we don't care about facts either.
No, we're done with them.
So last year.
No, I'm not loving that. I thought there was some chain pushing that could be done with the Chaos Dwarf blockers, which would have, again, established them down on the ground, which is where I want them. But I guess the Pro Elves here are looking much more at a recovery turn, where they're just trying to get back into position. Unfortunately, their assault on the cage really was fought off somewhat easily. That stun on the sidestepping blitzer being incredibly key.
It was a very important armor break, because if it wasn't an armor break there was still chance of the ball and great recovery as well, because he could just push it right into his own half.
Absolutely.
The question is now, if you're Nîme and you have another 4 pieces that you can move, you need to recover them somehow, and you've already spent your blitz, which means you're rolling a bunch of 2+.
And it absolutely does.
Goes for more blocks.
He's taking the aggressive route. But it is again a down long beard is a
huge advantage, and even one of them down, let alone if you could have got two.
The question is, though, is Nîme overblocking? Is he hunting the blocks too much?
No, I mean, I liked how he attacked last turn, and this turn, I mean, what he's done there is also to make a screen, as well as if it blocked it down, really halted what the Chaos Dwarves could do in return. So the impact wasn't bad. I suspect we wouldn't have seen him re-roll either of those last two dodges, despite leaving a route up the middle. So it's worked out okay. The only thing in contact right now is the Hobgoblins, which you'll do some hitting with, but it's not your first choice, and you certainly won't be defining your turn around it.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward those two being that far forward, since the leader and the dodge will be swarmed in by two people.
Yeah, I'd rather they were 1 or 2 ranks further back, but they're still doing a reasonable job of screening off that side of the perch.
My only issue is that the leader has been exposed quite quickly. Like, he doesn't have the leader for this turn anyways.
But
so
you
that
can.
doesn't matter. But
That's the whole. You're stating my whole problem with leader.
Yes, we don't care about your problem with
very
leader.
ballsy move. He is putting the cage right up in some elves' faces. This is the exact opposite of what I was talking about with Good Day Nick's Cambria.
Oh, and that's a sidestep here. So
Yeah,
he needs to take
this
the
is
both
a
down.
very
aggressive from
Justicium. Very aggressive.
But you are kind of highlighting the whole issue with leader is on an elf team where you always would lose players you don't really can afford to have a piece you cannot use actively.
I'm surprised to see him step out there. I thought he might go up near the front of the cage.
I'm not sure he needs
He's
to.
already got some equity in contact with that Garda.
Really need to. Like, no matter what he does, it's going to be half dice. But
and if
he's got the half die.
He can get, he can move one of the Gardas with a simple push, with one assist moved in. So there's going to be a half dice on the ball if he wants it.
I think we may see it this time.
I mean, you could take down both front edges of that cage.
Yep.
And if one of them pows, the one specifically that's out on its own, you could be looking in that case at 1 die.
Yep. If both, it's basically both. Yeah.
If both go down, then there's guaranteed a 1D on the ball.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You potentially need to dodge somebody.
Both actually have to be knocked down because you're.
Yes, absolutely. Because otherwise, the assist
blocking is still giving an assist onto the ball from where you would be able to come in.
I mean, no, there's a way in from the side in front of the other ball.
Oh, yeah.
But it's harder to reach. You're right.
You
that
also
requires
got
more dodges to get around there. But yeah, I mean, certainly one needs to be a power, and ideally both, if you're going to even bother trying to take both down.
I think you block the first one and see how it goes.
The guard that will push you onto another guard if you advance afterwards. Yeah. And if that goes, then I might be tempted to try and take the other one out and get a 1 die.
Unless this is all just one big old bait from Jerome.
Oh, it is. Of course it is. He's not going to put something that much in the elves' faces without thinking, for a start, I don't think they can make it happen. And for a second, even if they do, I think the fail state's good enough I can recover it, and it's going to give me lots of elves to hit.
But I'm not sure on the fail state, because that catcher is dodge, and there's no tackle on it. So if that ball scatters in the wrong way, that's a catcher running.
I don't love any fail state, but yes, I see your point. It's not. There isn't much behind the cage, and there are elves around that can get there.
Ooh la la.
Not just in my head, but realistically.
I find it interesting that he chose for that 1 die first. Oh, that's a big removal as well.
It's removing tackle from the dodge piece.
Absolutely, so the dodge piece can get its assist on a lot easier.
Yeah, it's 2+ either way.
And it had wrestle, so it was a safer 1 die as well.
Yeah, it's 2+ where 2+ actually works. Yeah, it's the same odds. I don't like it. It's 2+ with upside.
Okay, it's only a push, so it's going to be 2 die against no matter what he does if he goes for it.
I think
It could potentially still be a 1D. If he chooses to come the long way around, of
To
course.
come the long way around, yes.
that's,
Could even be 2 dice if he gets the 1D knockdown on that Chorf blocker.
no, we just take the 2 dice uphill now. It's too much. I'm not sure. Yeah, just take the free 2 dice and not. Yeah, exactly. Not re-roll it.
I mean, you could push it onto the catcher and have another 2 dice uphill.
No, but that's.
Oh, no, you can't from that
you
angle,
cannot
can
from
you?
that
No.
angle.
Yeah, not from that
But
angle.
you're pushing it back to the diving tackle.
This, however, does give Jerome quite a few blocks on.
Again.
It does. It did pull the elves in, and it looks a very defensible situation where you should get a lot of those blocks.
Yeah, that's a little bit
Well, there's going to
wondering.
be at least 2, and that's if the 2 elves that are trapped towards the side don't get out. 3 because the one on the ball carrier.
Let's see.
One of the ball carriers easily blitzed off, but then it's still
But he needs to do that because
4 hits.
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
aggressive.
I would. Oh,
And the reroll, but the reroll does get the big old pow.
That's
yeah,
interesting.
I'm not sure I like the reroll in the first place. I mean, yeah, it does free up that catcher, but I think that reroll is worth more than that block.
It's a first half reroll, and he's got another one. Just don't make any more mistakes.
Correction, just don't roll more shit.
Now it's
Yeah.
harder to blitz off the diving tackle.
Out round the back, absolutely. And of course, it is a sidestepper, so
Well, you don't need to blitz the sidestep off now.
Ooh. Okay.
You've got 2 dice on the dodge catcher with Mighty Blow. If it's a knockdown, you push it in to the square just below the sure hands. And then you just have 2 dice on the diving tackle, and then he can't sidestep onto the ball still.
But that still means the diving tackle is not getting Mighty Blow hit. I think he's pretty fine with that solution. And it means the bull is not going anywhere.
yeah. And although bulls can move a long way, you still at some point need to get it into the position where you can spring it forwards. And we're not there yet.
Where it can just leapfrog forward.
Yeah. It's creating a pocket again. But
Yeah, I mean it's
we got a KO out of it.
yeah.
What turn are we
You'd hope to have seen at least 2 elves go.
Again.
There we go. It's the big old golden son of a pow. All problems get solved on a 6.
Yep. Oh, and that's a big casualty as well.
That's
We need
enormous.
to reroll that.
He's got to surely throw the apothecary on it. He does, and it works for once.
I
He
don't.
see the player back, but it's out of this drive.
Yeah,
I don't like going anything that
No,
isn't
but
bad.
he is without
No.
that. That player is vital for this game.
Yeah,
And you
it's
already
a big
lost
player.
2. That's I think that's the game.
And if you say no to apothecary it, you're definitely down to 10. So
Yeah, if you want to win this game.
and as you've seen, Nîme is not opposed to going putting his AV7 right up in your face. So,
But somehow
He-
again the bull is not
uh,
moving.
Well, I'm assuming he's going to move it up at least 1 square or move it into like a pop.
yeah, I thought it was moving a knight's move into that pocket, but
That's 2 go for it to get in front of
it
that.
isn't. It's a long, long old way.
Oh la
What?
la!
And the first one fails.
No,
I mean,
I have
Justy has got the go for it, but it's
he can.
It's-
Ooh. But even making 2 is that guard is easily moved. That's straight on 2 dice on that guard. So you cannot really.
yes. In fact, I think leaving it there is probably more sensible, so as to
Yeah.
not leave an easy assist place. At least from there, it's going to be 2 uphill, whatever comes for it.
Yeah.
And with only 1 reroll on, this is dangling a leg, saying, "Come and use your last reroll, and leave lots of elves in contact when it fails."
And then I still have 2 turns to do some blocking.
Yes.
Plop it in for 1-0.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure I'll take it this time. I think actually I'll look at potentially if I can hit the bull if I can hit the mighty blow down and mark the bull with 2 players
Yeah, and
instead.
mark the bull up instead. But it's
And
this is classic sort of psychological warfare as well as Blood Bowl, isn't it? I'm
Yeah.
saying you can have 2 die uphill against my non-block bull carrier, and he's even got a wrestle there to go with it. But
Yeah.
if it goes wrong, the mighty blow's definitely going to have hits. See,
Mi-
that's going to help as well. There's going to be some elves all around and not a lot of defense for that ball. And so hence I like taking the mighty blow down and just gluing that ball in place.
Yeah, you don't need to take dice on the ball this turn.
No, and you have the
Oh,
2
but
players you can target.
You have a catcher who is perfectly in range to score already. So now you just look to lock down the part of the pitch where Jerome is, and then hope that he makes a mistake, or wait for the inevitable mistake that's going to come because he just doesn't have the protection that he needs.
Yeah, what does anyone on the stream think? Would you be going for this 2 die uphill with a wrestler?
I don't think you take the 2 die this turn, or the half die this turn.
No,
Yeah,
take the mighty blow.
I wouldn't, but you've got to talk yourself out of it, surely, because he's giving you the sort of thing as elves you're normally looking for.
Yeah.
No, he needs a lucky scatter. He needs it to back and then scatter into something and out.
Yeah. Well, he can get the right angle from it because he can push it straight in towards the rest of his team.
Well, yes, I mean, as you go, if you're going with the 2 uphill, you can do it touching the hobgoblin as well as the mighty blow at the same time.
Yeah.
I
And so you're
didn't-
pushing it actually towards your touchdown area and into a whole pack of elves.
Follow up.
But-
There's no that card is not getting anywhere.
Yeah, Elric and Geryon and Whiffback all say no, don't go for it. Just base the bull.
Yeah, but I think the two player bases are going out the window as well, right? With the amount of blocking he's doing and following up.
Yeah,
it's
just decide to put sidestep on it.
Yeah, but you might do that. Put rest low and blitz with sidestep last thing. Might even not even reroll the failed dodge out.
Mm.
Yeah, the sidestep could work as well. But if you need, then you almost say fuck not scoring, and then you tag off the long beard in the bottom as well, so there's nobody with tackle to hit. But that's
Just chooses to bring it up around instead.
Yeah, I thought that elf coming up from the backfield might have just tagged the other bull, keeping that one in place.
yeah, one of those two in that side to stop moving forward. I like the blocking
And
going
it is the mighty blow hit.
That's a good block angle.
Yeah, so now he puts
Yeah,
it
but it's
down.
still leaving another elf base.
But that's the whole
leaving
plan.
one on the ball carrier, but
Nobody is getting forward. He's sacrificing kind of his whole team to stop those.
unfortunately, I'm blitzing the one on the ball carrier with my dwarf beard that's on the line, and then I've got a bull and a hobgoblin and a ball carrier that can go forward. And I'm hitting a lot of elves and another hobgoblin if this blocking all goes well. So I don't love it.
No, I would have preferred. Personally, I would actually attack the Longbeard. If you do this, you attack the last tackle piece, so there's no tackle pieces that can hit that blitzer.
Yep.
That kind of. If you're going for stopping tackle,
That double tagged hobgoblin, I'm not sure needed tagging at all, really, but certainly not twice.
Just a question: why not follow that up so that you prevent the sidestep from being able to just sidestep back onto the ball in case of pushes? Because if that blitz had been double pushes, he just sidesteps and stays on the ball.
Yeah, because you Jerome knows that you cannot fail.
Yeah, and also he's got 2 rerolls. I think he'd have thrown one in on a sidestep.
I think it still fail though, but it's still a 5+ roll on 4 dice. That can still fail.
Yeah, but there's still a 45. Well, for the 2D, there's still a 45% chance of it still failing.
But to be fair, I was about to say, even if he sidestep the other way, it's awkward.
Here we go. First hobgoblin screener out.
Hobgoblin locked and loaded. 1, 2, 3.
But that's
Again, he's quite happy to put that ball in an attackable position.
He shot it up a tiny bit, but I suspect he's going to bring the bull in to cover against an attack this turn.
Yeah, but you can't cover against both, so he's just going to put it next to it. Yep, so he's saying, again, if you want a 2-die uphill, you can have one.
That's 2-die uphill into 2-die uphill.
Yeah, and I think I would take it this time.
This time I would. Would I sink the reroll into it? Yeah. I can 1D hit that hobgoblin out, potentially
Yeah.
get another scoring threat in. He's got one goal
Good.
with the build to score.
And also just moving it further away from the ball area is good.
Yeah.
Because whilst they're elves, they're not the paciest of elves. So as a lineman, it's now a little further away from being useful to the ball area.
All he can do is tag up that hobgoblin that's standing near the sure hands.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too. I'm taking this, and I'm not even bothering doing anything else.
No, straight in with the catcher, 2-die uphill into the wrestler.
Yeah.
Do you re-roll it though?
Nope.
Would you re-roll any of the blocks?
Nope.
No, because Big Core would back himself to 1 turn, so he's keeping a re-roll back for that.
And
Like
I
the
think the
filthy
odds
little
of 1 turn
monkey he is.
is better than stopping this touchdown right now. Because even if you knock it free, there's a big chance it's just a 3+3+.
Yeah, you haven't quite got enough material around it to secure it.
And if you just get 1 KO back, you're fine. But it looks like he's going. Ooh, you can go for the 1 dice and get it from that. And get the sidestep in as well. That's a bit aggressive, but he could do that. He must be doing. He must look in either blocking, taking one of those 2 1 dices now. Otherwise, you're not doing the first move.
Yeah.
It means you can get block. You can get one. You can get 1 chance in the ball, but with block. Potentially, can even get 1, 2, 3. That's a bit much.
To ask. It's a lot of dice for a marginal improvement in my book.
Yeah, but he was
Yeah.
going
Okay,
for the tag just.
Interesting. Yeah, he was trying to just tag it up a lot. I see.
But yeah, I'm not crazy about that now. You're just risking more pieces for the 1
It is also just handing Jerome the score, saying, "Here, just take it.
It is.
Take 2+ of the reroll, and I'll try and 1 turn."
I'm dodging that. I'm dodging the blitzer still now.
Where
But
to?
I don't care. Somewhere that's not Mighty Blow.
Somewhere that's not getting hit by a mighty blow by a beard. But
Yeah,
he's not. He's leaving it there.
It's just 3+4, and then you got reroll on the 4+. So if you still want to attack, I really don't
Look, the
understand.
upside of this plan this turn is that there's only going to be the bull and the hobgoblin to defend the ball. Nothing else is getting up there. So there we are. There's an upside.
But why, if you do the 1 dice, if your plan is to attack, why don't you do the 3+4+ with reroll for the 4+? Instead of just standing there.
Yeah.
And it's not even if you can sidestep into anything interesting. And you...
No, it does seem to be
there's a 1.
not
You
great
cannot
place to
reroll
be.
that.
No, surely not.
Nope.
Oh, although it goes off the pitch.
That
Not
could
what you were
be
looking for.
problematic. That could be problematic if he doesn't come back.
That's still 1 catcher. But otherwise he needs the...
There's 2 catches.
There's wrestle, but you're not... You want one of the... You want the dodge one. Just in case you can find a hole.
I mean, there are 3 KO, but he's getting 2 rolls on them, so he's got reasonable expectation of at least 2 of them back.
Yeah. And at least the catcher survived.
Oh, there's 1 more hit on it if he really wants it.
Yeah, and the other catcher is not getting hit now. Yeah, it is now. I was about to say. He's coming around. Sneaking around the corner.
That's super
Surely
aggressive.
you hit the leader here as well.
Yeah. I'll take that over the blitzer.
Yes, I probably would because the way at the moment you've got it locked in,
Why?
it's not going to sidestep
I think
anywhere.
he forgot he had guard there.
Yeah, I could have blitzed.
Yeah, that was a.
I think he was supposed to blitz
Pointless.
with the. He must have been supposed to blitz with the bull and realized standing there he hadn't pushed blitz because there's
Okay.
nobody has blitzed.
And there's the goal.
Now
for
he's
it.
going to score. And there we go.
Easy does it.
Well, it wasn't a very challenging half in the end. There was that one turn where the Pro Elves really came at the cage, but Justy defended it fantastically. So
Catch your back.
Nîme does manage to get his catcher back.
and his
Doesn't get
very,
too
very
close.
aggressive sets, pushing his dwarves right up in the Elves' faces, paid off really, really well.
It did force Jerome, well, it didn't really, but it did make Jerome put himself in situations where it could have gone really, really wrong. But it probably was all just one big bait to say, come at me, take the dice on the ball, waste a re-roll, and I'll still score.
Well, certainly, I think we all felt that, as did Nîme. But in another world, of course, he took that 2-die uphill with his wrestler, got the ball down, and the Chaos Dwarves just weren't able to pick it up again.
That could have been a thing that happened.
That could have been. But it wasn't. So we face the one turn. Now I'm going to just have a quick cigarette and leave Big Card to talk about this because Core is very, very good at one turns.
He's a
Do
legend.
we like how he's setting up? That's what I want to hear.
He's doing the standard nav.
I mean, it works to a degree, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, in what Jerome does now is there's no tackle at all. You might go for. I will go for the multiple judges down by the 2 hobgoblins now.
So you push that way out.
Yeah, just because there's no dodge. Because it's that's a
which
little
is
bit
why he's swapping his line of scrimmage for a couple of hobgoblins.
If he had been
Also,
splitting the left hobgoblin one to the side, you could go around the top of the garter, which sometimes people do, is putting one step to the side. And if it's just a string 3, it's pretty easy to go around the top of the left side. Now he did put a tackle over there, but I still will just go that way.
So we spoke about this the last time that Jerome did this, but it's definitely deliberate that on his right hand side.
Yeah,
which
the
would be
dwarf one space one forwards of the rest.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Now
yeah,
it's
we
definitely
could go. I'm actually now you're saying again. Yeah, it might actually be worth going. I still like the idea because that's 3+2+. That's. I still
onto
don't.
the bull and off it.
Yeah, he's going that way now.
Yeah.
I think, and you can.
No, I mean, it has to be deliberate because he has done it several times. Last time, didn't we say, "Oh, we think he's misplaced it"?
No,
But it's just
I've
us being.
said it.
He has.
I was pretty sure I kept saying I'm pretty sure it's deliberate because he's not.
you kept saying it. The rest of us didn't.
And it's I can see it's tempting going that way because if you can get it, then it's just 3+, and then it's easier getting out if you go straight down that way. I'm not crazy. Whatever he does, it seems a bit. You should get the first push on your blitz. Perfect defense. Who fucking cares?
That's ruined it.
And it's a deep kick as well, or where is the ball? Yeah,
Thank you for the expert
Yeah, it's a
analysis
very
on
deep
something
kick.
that didn't happen.
Yeah, but it could. If it's a touchback, I think there will still be plays. Even if he sets a line over there, because of the angle where that catcher, the 2 catchers are standing by each other. It'll be uphill shit, but I think you can still, especially on a touchback, I think you're still trying to do some crazy shit.
I think if you get the uphill here, you still go for the one turn. Like I think there is a way to still do it from this angle.
That's a pretty
Really?
easy way, because you can get the first push straight away. He could really use frenzy at Windsor. Actually, if he just not put his diving tackle one, if Nîmes put his diving tackle one more to the side, it'd have been a lot easier for him.
I think I see it, but it's tricky. Okay, so he gets the touchback, so you definitely go for it here.
Well, you've got to re-roll and you've got the ball wherever you want it. But I
You can.
I don't see a route that's
Okay,
easy.
you just need to. If he's not going for it. You just need 2 pushes. Yeah, you can. That's bad, but I think you.
Do you have to come up diagonally from the block?
Yeah, you probably.
built it up?
The shit is, it will be 2 dice uphill in the bull, and you'll have to dodge through the line to get into it. Which means it's probably not worth trying.
That's the really tough bit.
If you left everybody where he is, you could do something around that bull in theory, but when you having your diving tackle had to dodge through a shit ton of stuff.
It would have been a 2+, 4+, 3+, 2+.
It's pretty bad odds. And then you can push it in. You can fill up the 2 squares and push it into the bull.
Even that's not easy without moving any of the elves, though, because one of them has to step into that little hole between
it's really
the second
horrible.
line.
I think it's
And getting
just
in there is not easy without ruining your pushing options.
Again, with frenzy had been a lot easier.
Yes, and the leap also changes the maths quite a lot. But
we are going to see a big old foul, though.
Yeah, he's
on the mighty block.
No,
never mind.
Oh, we're not.
Never mind.
Oh.
So we go into half time at 0-0. Everyone should feel free to turn around and start some oranges at 1-0.
Both KO stay out this round as well. So that's 9-11.
That's not ideal in terms of the things that don't exist getting rolled.
It's, I think, if I'm
one out of 5 recoveries.
But still, if I'm Nîme, I'm still going to just try to score in 2 and hope they come back next time. Oh, 2 or less. Not 2 less.
Even then, you can still somewhat defend with 9.
Yeah, you're trying to score. You're not going for 1-1 anyway, because going to overtime is not going to suit you any. Probably.
No, you've got low armor and not huge amounts of rerolls. Although you do have the fame, so kickoffs are a good thing for you. Not only getting people back, but perhaps earning a reroll or a rock.
I'll still, if I'm elves, I'll still try. I will go for trying to steal this one in regular time in this position right now.
Yes, things are only likely to get bleaker, surely.
Yeah.
Oh, they're taking a break, according to Jerome.
Of course. It's France players after all. Cannot expect them just to play.
No, they have to have a ciggy break.
Hey, man.
Well, presumably it's putting half a bottle of wine down their 12-year-old children and other racial stereotypes.
Having a baguette sword fight in the backyard.
Yeah, riding a quick bicycle with some onions around their neck.
Don't forget waving the white flag. So everyone else left as well.
I was going to say, is there anyone in the stream still?
Well, I mean, I'm still here, but I'm just sat vibing.
But I liked what we've seen from Nîme in the semi-final. Not a coach I've seen play a lot, but he's certainly shown he's got his chops as a pro elf player to have got this far in a very competitive format.
It's definitely also an Italian thing. You'll see that at tabletop tournaments.
See, there's a few Danish folks that in a for halftime they go out and roll up a joint.
Yeah, I confess there's been a couple of tournaments I've done that at. Yeah. But also, I genuinely at halftime need to stretch my legs.
But yeah, it's still
I
nothing
hope Joe-
compared to Spain. If we're talking people that like the funny ones,
They do like their doobies.
they do.
Interestingly, I think it's another thing that poker shares with Blood Bowl. I think marijuana might count as a performance-enhancing drug because it helps you surf through the emotions and stay focused and calm.
The
And
people
when you're
that
calm, you come up with better ideas, I think.
people here in Denmark that smoke a fat one during a halftime, they cannot keep calm. They get really aggressive when things go wrong. But yeah, going back to Nîme, it's not a name I recognize from tabletop, so my experience is exclusively from Blood Bowl 2.
He's playing tabletop. He's playing. He's playing with. Let me see. He was playing the table. They had a social distance. They rented a big house for their playoff in the tabletop league recently, last weekend actually.
Right.
And he is Box and some other friends, guys. If anybody knows anything France, they'll know some of those names.
Chug went 1-3 on the first Inter Bowl, went to his mate's apartment in Manny to smoke a few dupes, and came back 3-0 the next day.
Yeah, Salamotis, Simon ACP, Box, and some other guys was playing that final, so he's definitely playing tabletop. And also,
yeah, but does he play
couple.
To be clear,
he must be
I'm not
playing
recommending getting completely out of your box. I just think a little bit of mood control can sometimes help.
I think I went through a bad spell of what I perceived as bad luck, so I changed my mentality to it, and I get less influenced by bad dice now.
Yeah, I'd try and say they don't affect me. I think it's the exact opposite. I think they affect me, but I've got to the point that I can process emotion from a game in nanoseconds. So I allow myself to feel it. I don't try and take the Dio route of meditating it all away. I let ting. Which, if you can do it, if it works for you, fantastic. I understand why that mental piece is a great thing for a gaming space. But also, if you can allow yourself to feel it and yet not let that change you, that's the same outcome.
I think that's why a lot of half decent coaches have issues. It's because they can't deal with the emotion properly, so they just tilt so easily. This is why if I ever play against Artemis, I will go to tilt him, because I know I can then win the game based on him tilting, because he will make mistakes.
And just easy, just use all your time every turn. You don't need to do more.
Just use the full 2 minutes every single turn.
And particularly, just use most of your turn and then have 1 or 2 players left, and then taking ever moving the last 2 players.
One slow square at a time.
Whilst visualizing those throbbing veins on his forehead.
Yeah.
But I think also that's why we get the rage quits. It's people that can't do either. They either can't block all the emotions out, or they can't feel them and let them go. So they try blocking them and they build up like a dam. And then when they release, it's fuck this and fuck that and dice this and dice that. No, horrible, horrible, awful game. No, it's not. It's exactly the same game you loved when you won the last time.
Yeah. I think it's a bigger problem. I don't have much experience with Fumble, but my perception of it is that it's less of a problem on Fumble than it is on Blood Bowl 2, but that has to do with what platform the game is playable on. Like, Fumble is free.
Yes,
free client.
Yeah.
But Blood Bowl 2 is on Steam, where you get an influx of a lot of people who play,
yes,
I'm going to say, more rage-inducing games.
It also, Fumble, it takes a bit of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as simple as just buy game, plug in controller, off you go.
Yeah.
You have to learn a little bit how to use the client and get the plays in the places.
And you don't accidentally stumble on Fumble. Most people know Blood Bowl already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To some degree. They may not be good, but they know it to some degree.
They know
That
the
said,
game and
there's
know
a-
the basic mechanics of it.
Yes. That said, there's a schism. I mean, there's a churn rate with every new player to every new platform, every new game. But on Fumble particularly, you're going to meet people, a lot of whom really know their Blood Bowl. And we
Yeah.
still get the real life hero that's, beaten 3 disinterested friends in their bedroom and then comes on Fumble expecting to rule the world and then blames everything in the world except the fact that they're nowhere near as good as they think they are for how they don't instantly rule the world.
Yeah.
And if people can't cope with that, of course, you're going to lose them from any game and from any format. But Blood Bowl is particularly harsh at that.
Yeah. It's also when you play in those like enclosed, shut down environments where you're pretty much just playing with a few mates,
Yep.
maybe, and then you're just like, oh, I'm so good at this game because I'm better than my mates.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
You've got to remember that there are people who are actually better than you because they've played so much more,
And it looks.
and they haven't played against the same 3 people again and again.
If you,
Absolutely. I mean, you might be fantastic, but there's also a good chance you've played your disinterested mate who's there because you really asked him to. The
Yeah.
one who's hoping that next season everyone's back into 40k. The 2 guys that really are in it for painting. And the
Yeah.
one bloke who's there because he urgently needs friends.
Mm.
So, yes, you've beaten them repetitively. Well done. And you might be brilliant. There's a good chance that someone that's played online several hundred times, whilst you think you're brilliant but have perhaps played 30 to 40 games, is going to be better than you, let alone someone that's played 1,000 times.
We have a guy in the Danish tournament scene who's played like 6,000 games on Fumble before he started coming to tournaments, tabletop tournaments. And, you know, he's good. He's good. But he's also played 6,000 games on Fumble.
Yeah,
is,
that's
that
pretty
can,
much my...
that can only be. Is he playing tabletop again?
That depends on who you're thinking of.
Who's played? There's a few people that played 6,000 games on Fumble.
I'm not sure if he's from your time,
You're
but
saying that in a condemnatory way, Cor, when I've played 6,000 games on Fumble. There's plenty of people, and they're very normal. It's a normal thing to have done.
I mean, I'm not saying I got my high elf team with almost 2,000 games.
It depends on if you know Melvi or not.
Oh, Melvi,
Big
yeah. Okay, has he
Yeah.
played that much? I was
Yeah.
for a second thinking that Empathy was back playing tabletop.
Nope. It's Melvi.
Okay.
Oh, I
my
love
God,
me some
he has.
empathy, but there's a table thrower if ever there was one.
But I know him from Fumble as well, so. Oh, Mbola. I'm missing Bolo. I'm always laughing the shit out when he's starting. I'm just going
I
on
played
it.
in Polo, you see.
I'm just agreeing with him. Yes, it's right. I'm cheating. I got this client. It's brilliant.
God, I remember playing in Bolo a few seasons ago when I tried a high elf run. God, that was hilarious.
He's brilliant.
How the fuck
Okay.
do you lose to Embolo?
He can kill you. He's normally playing. He does normally play. He played Dwarves in CCL as well. Played, and if the first gets rolling, everybody can lose to anybody. Exactly.
Yeah, that is.
I've been
Chuck,
I'm being pitch cleared by people like Space Cadet multiple times. Where if it first goes bad, it goes bad. So how much do we want to block?
I think we see the quick score and let's see who comes back here.
I think he might be tempted to do the 2+ with dodge and block the hobgoblin.
Chug, I do love my classics, and I don't mind being referred to as a stoic, although, again, I would suggest I allow the emotions through me rather than denying them entirely. I see Blood Bowl as a Sisyphean task, and that's why I do still claim that I am learning the game, as I don't think one ever finishes with that. You push that boulder up the hill and it comes down again every game.
No one has ever finished learning Blood Bowl.
I don't think so. No.
There is always room for improvement. You cannot play a perfect game every game. There are always games where you make mistakes. Or make a marginal thing that your opponent doesn't know how to utilize or doesn't even spot in the first place. And you're like, that was a mistake. Because this, and this could have happened. So I need to change that. for next time.
Hey, he's doing it. And I think personally, you need to 2+ anyways, so I'm going 2+ with the wrestle to hit the mighty blow and hope for cheeky removal anyway.
Cheeky removal.
It's,
Yeah.
You have
might
to
as well do
2+ anyway, and it's pretty safe block because it's literally another 2+. It adds 1 2+ extra, but with an upside. Ow! Look at that.
Oof. And it creates a great fail state for if this dodge doesn't work or
Yeah, and
something.
you might even
Or
see
you
him.
could just choose to take the block instead.
What?
You could choose to take the 2 die on the bill.
On the bull.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a 1 in 9 fail rather than a 1 in
Yeah,
36.
I'm not so crazy on that. But you might. He's in a bad state. I was about to say. You might try it.
Yeah, the fail state isn't terrible, is it? So he is trying it.
Yeah. You can't even
And again, if you can get a cheeky bull removal, that's very game changing.
could even stall for a turn to give just shorten the cast drive a bit. Yeah. You might look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, there's a side step there.
needing that dodge to work. It did. And even then, there's a bull route.
Yeah, but that's again.
And
If
there's
you,
always a bloody bull route, isn't there? So
yeah, I don't want. Is that?
4, 5, 6,
Oh, it's
7,
a
8, 9.
sidestep.
You'd be
That's
hitting
bad.
on 9.
It needs a power as well. It's the
Yeah,
sidestep.
it's not good odds.
Oh
but-
yeah, that's the blitzer sidestepping, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty safe. I don't dislike any of that.
No, it's
I
again.
think once you committed to once the bull went down on the power, it made stalling look a really tasty proposition.
Yeah.
And if that blitzer dodge had failed, you could have thrown a reroll on it. I
Oh,
think you
goes for a
probably
cheeky
could
bill
have done.
foul. Oh, thick skull.
Big skull.
Thick skull.
Oh, so near. Only an 8. Now the stun does make another stall a little more possible, but surely he's going to go in at some point. How many turns do you want to leave the Chaos
I'd
Dwarves?
expect Nîme to plop it in at around turn 12, 13.
Okay, so you think he wants to stall 2 more out of this?
Yeah, because it gives Justy as little time as possible, and still giving you a chance to break him. And even then, if neither party scores, you're still going to overtime.
Yeah.
So if you plop it in on
you've got to give him enough time that he doesn't just shore up and head straight for overtime.
Yeah.
That the score looks possible. So that's 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
assuming
that
you
gives
plop
you
in
the
on
same
turn
3 to nick the ball off him. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because assuming that you plop it in on turn 13, that gives you 3 turns to try and break Jerome. So then if there isn't an obvious way of doing it on turn 15, you just go for let's secure the 1-all at full time and then take it to OT.
I think it's
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not really Nîme that's going to decide much.
No, I think it's how well Justicium attacks this will decide whether
And
it's
as
stallable.
soon as you have a little bit of a shaky stall, you can just pop it in. Because you're still probably fine.
You still got a turn here, though.
Yeah, you got at least
you-
1 or 2. I'm
You,
just
at
saying
least one more, but
it's more
Yeah.
up to how
you're
just
probably going to have to retreat into the corner to do it. I don't think you can make it across to the other side, which would have been a lovely target. And then it's can he collapse that in one?
The sidestep does keep it a bit more honest.
Okay, he's creating more space than I thought he would.
Oh,
That guard
nice.
stun is lovely.
That's a nice stun.
I think that's now 2 turns if he wants it. In my mind.
It's looking like 2 turns with that stun now.
Yeah. Only problem with not advancing there is, of course, that does leave that catcher little trapped. It's a 3+2+ to get out without dodge.
I think the follow there would have been okay.
Yeah, me too.
Because it
Got
the starters
Catcher
give
out a lot
that catcher
easier.
back, and the defense is still good because you still have a blitzer, and then it's 2
Well,
plus dodge without dodge.
Yeah, the problem is if the next thing fails,
Yeah.
having advanced, it wouldn't have been ideal. But you've got 3 reels. You could afford to make sure that one more thing makes it where you need. So I think I would have advanced to get the catcher out a little easier.
And even then, it's still going to be fairly tricky for
You
Jerome to
might
get the
even
dice.
just leave the catcher.
That's
Yeah.
a bold 1 die. I
Press
think that's
again.
a bold 1 die.
It's not more bold than dodging away.
Yeah, but the dodge does more than the block.
Not really. He's not coming that way around anyway. And yeah, that's a little bit too deep, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that square is better.
Yeah, you didn't need to go all the way there. Yeah, I don't hate because it hurts the Chaos Dwarf much more than it hurts.
The only worry about leaving the catcher there is it's a foul target, but then
It's
so's the wrestler. So
Yeah,
something's going to get fouled if he wants to foul.
it's not really been
I
doing
think
it.
I'd probably leave it. I don't love the 3+2+ to get out, but it's
He's
coming.
doing it.
And he gets the 3+ and the 2+. So I'm the fool, and that was obviously better.
No, to be fair, the
Easy.
thing you have another argument for leaving it is that if he doesn't watch out, he could sneak out the other way at one point.
I mean, it's leaving it on the floor also gives Jerome a choice. Like, he can choose to take the foul and hand Nîme the stall, or he can leave it and then it can potentially do something later.
I mean, I think we'll see both. I think you will see him attack the elves.
Yeah,
But now they're so deep, I think they can definitely stall at least one more after this if they choose.
But it's a bit again because I think the linemen that went 1 square back up still run 1 square too much because of that. The guard are now coming in around.
Yeah.
What is it called? Marion? He probably accidentally clicked way too deep with to begin with.
Yeah,
If
and then
he'd
didn't
been
want to
1
waste
square
go
forward,
for
that's made everything a lot nicer.
Where's the blitz coming in?
Mighty Blow, way to go for it.
On the dodge diving tackle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is both good and bad. Because it also means that it gets out of cannot reroll.
You don't reroll
that.
Oh, that's a cheeky casualty.
That's suboptimal, but he's got
That's
to
a
hope that
huge
it's
casualty.
mostly done.
That's huge.
That is very big, yes.
That broke Big Kev.
I like the
Well, it's one of those things. I mean, I often have a mighty blow on my dwarves and on my chaos dwarves. Just because you've got it, you always want to hit with it, but sometimes it's better not to.
It's
And
about situation, really.
Even if that had worked, I don't like the fact that there's a whole layer of defense on the board that no one is touching at all. I mean, to stall now, he can just click end turn, and the stall is safe. So,
he runs in.
I
would have gone either for something along the.
I think he's eyeing block with 3 rerolls and a dead Dwarf.
I mean, there was a lot of risk.
None of the chaos back though.
Yeah, that's bad. But you don't know that. It's a gamble.
No, you don't know that's going to happen. You've got to gamble at least one's coming back. That's rough for him, and he's now going to be thinking, should I have pushed it one more turn?
I think he should have pushed it one more turn there. Because it was
would
there.
have pushed it one more turn there.
It was there.
As I said, it didn't even require a single dodge. It was just automatically he was already in a good stall. He could only have improved.
Yeah, with a few dice, the stall could have been better.
Yes, I mean, it would have been, but I was saying, even if it fails one, you can still just keep your rerolls if you really want to, and stalled with the 3 pieces not in contact. But obviously, everyone that makes it out makes the stall better.
Yeah.
And puts less risk. So I might have re-rolled the first one, hoping to get 3 of them out of contact, for example.
And then guaranteeing a stall.
Yeah.
For at least another turn.
Yeah.
Because essentially, you know, I mean, plopping in on turn 12 isn't bad. It gives you 4 turns instead of 3, but I think 3 turns is better because it's just on that hair where Jerome can say, I can actually
five turns
solve
of
it.
Chaos Dwarf is plenty.
Yeah.
Because people discount the hobgoblins. The number of times that I've had, even with a bull on the ball, I've handed off to a hobgoblin for the score.
Yeah.
Because people do undervalue them as receivers.
Yeah.
And yet they're as good as human linemen, just not as well armored.
Yeah.
Obviously, the beards you don't want to be handing off to, but in extremis, that's even that's only a 4+.
And in desperate situations, you do that handoff anyways, so.
I think the big turning point is the 2 non-KO recoveries, but that can't be predicted. That's a 1 in 4. And now he's definitely, no matter what else happens in the game, he's got a right to lament his KOs with that's 1 recovery out of 7 rolls.
Yeah.
But the loser talks about how the dice were evil. The winner's too busy shagging the problem queen.
Gloating and bragging their way through the next few weeks.
Well, as we all know, he who is good at Blood Bowl basically wins the internet, don't they? That's
Yeah.
women love them, men want to be them.
They need their fake internet points to feel good.
The talent agents start calling the next day. Have you decided what you're bringing to TSD next season? And are you willing to announce it publicly?
I'm fine with it. I'm bringing my stun dogs. I'm going for the 3 goblin orcs.
Well,
that's going to be hilarious.
That's the orc build I was thinking of playing
Yeah.
around with. Is it a troll, 4 bobs, 4 blitzers, 3 goblins?
Yes, an alignment.
And a lineman.
I think
I didn't think you need the lineman.
I think you have the money and 3 rerolls.
You do. Because usually,
quite
what
like
if
the
you
idea
run
of-
12 men and one of them's a goblin,
Yeah.
and then no thrower?
No,
I was thinking to run 12 men and 3 of them be goblins.
Yeah, I got 13.
But
and
you're
3.
shaving 20k by cutting 2 linemen and adding 2 goblins instead. Oh, with
there's,
back, definitely take Dark Elves. A lot of people say that Dark Elves are boring, but they're not.
No, they are.
No, they're not, because they have a lot of variance in the way that they can play.
And yet they don't. People put blodge on all the blitzers, and then it's a choice. Oh, do I have a block dodge witch, or do I have a wrestle dodge witch? I put leader on a runner. But the variance is very small. The playstyle is remarkably similar.
You shouldn't even do that. That's only dodge runner if you play with the runner. That leader thing is something we should just
No, you hate it, Core.
Yes, we don't count your opinion on this matter, Core.
No, who should count the one that's winning multiple majors with them?
You are the NAF #1 ranked player with Dark Elves, and the #1 ranked player in the world for your scores with Dark Elves. But it doesn't mean we should be listening to you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yep, I might even with 5 skills, I'm not even bothering taking runner.
Yeah,
I think you're better just taking alignment then. If you cannot dodge him up, then he's pointless.
My antipathy to Dark Elves doesn't come from their playstyle on the pitch, although it is a bit samey. It's from the fact that when my darling daughter was about 2 or 3, we were down in the south of France, and I saw a Dark Elf picture, clear as day, on a T-shirt designed for a 4-year-old, next to all the unicorns and fairies, and I just thought, yeah, Dark Elves are done. They're so mainstream now that 4-year-old girls are wearing them instead of a pixie or a unicorn.
I'm not sure why
They're the
Jerome has to.
uncoolest of all the
hands.
teams.
He's picking it up anyway. It doesn't matter. It's useless skill.
Well, if you can roll 4+, you don't need it.
You could have a block
and also,
here, break tackle.
if you fail a pickup back there, you don't need it either. So, I don't love sure hands on a bull, but it's like I said, every Chaos Dwarf build I look at, I pull it apart and think, I don't love this, I don't love that. There's no right answer on the bulls in my head, Jen.
Oh, there goes a Hobgoblin. Gives Nîme
And
a
that's
bit of
something-
empathy for this drive.
Well, that's something we didn't see a lot of from Nîme in the first half, was picking on the Hobgoblins.
He was trying.
Partly because he couldn't do so.
Yeah, I was about to say he was trying. He was trying multiple
Yeah.
times to like base them and get in contact with them. But
Absolutely. But Justicium was very good at getting them safe and moving things off them.
Yeah.
And also, when he assaulted the whole cage, it slightly gave up the picking at the edges for the let's pick the whole thing apart at once.
Yeah.
Which Pro Elves can do very effectively, but it didn't quite pay off.
With Bark, I've been a big fan of the one block, one wrestle for a very long time because it gives you a bit of versatility in your Witch Elves because you have the Frenzy Wrestle for sacking or cage diving to try and get the ball out, and then you have the block Frenzy for surf plays or maximizing your block potential.
or you just have it as a ball carrier if you start getting fucked and cannot handle having two frenzy running around.
Yeah, or you could do that.
That is my main reason for having block. That's when you start losing players, then actually using two frenzy players is just a nightmare, and a wrestle piece is just a terrible ball carrier.
Yeah.
It's one of the great ironies of NAF is that Dark Elves have fantastic stars available, including Elijah Doom, who would double up so well with the Witches, bringing his stand firm guard to the team.
Wrestle,
But-
defend. He's a many
He's a
post.
monster. He's an absolute monster.
He's a great star player. You just cannot fit him in.
No, you
properly.
can't afford him. You can't fit him in. Whereas dwarves could afford a star player because they always end up with so much money they don't need in NAF builds,
Yeah.
but they don't have a single decent star of the name available to them.
Which is a
I mean, I think I saw quite a few of the Boomer Sires and the Bombardier at the
Look,
World
even
Cup.
with a Blood Bowl 2 Nuffle altar to make those guys 10k, it's still marginal as to how much value they bring.
It's fine for the it's fine for the CCL build because you're playing without a bench. It's a cheap way to do bench.
Didn't Don Vito end top dwarf at the World Cup and ran with Boomer,
Probably.
or is that just me?
I'll not be surprised, but he's the madman. He doesn't count.
Boomer isn't utterly terrible. I mean, he's not great, but if you're looking for one that might possibly, he's certainly probably going to get more out of him than Flint.
Come on.
Yeah, but Flint is also 130 instead of 60.
Yes.
You've got 3
Yeah.
rerolls, 3 turns. Come on.
Go for the cage dive.
5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 4 plus with it. Double 4 plus it is.
And again, I think with this blockless bull, it would be tempting me.
I think you're, as Nîme here, looking at it, okay, I've got 3 turns.
Otherwise, you
Yep.
alternatively, actually, what you do is just blitz the Hobgoblin and just mark the bull again. And saying at one point you
Yeah.
cannot keep throwing pals on my sidestep dude.
No.
I think
you're
dive-
going to have to convert resources to get it off, and then you're not moving forward
Or
with the
doing
pace
that,
you need
but
to.
yeah, it's the same
Yeah.
effect. He's coming in for the bull now.
Yeah, he's coming in for the ball.
Or at least you move people over, and yeah. That's,
I didn't love. I mean, I liked him attacking one side of the Hobgoblin. I didn't love the attempt to sneak down the other edge with the Blitzer. I think it took it out of the play. I think it was always likely to not get there, and I just think it was not what I would have done. Had it worked, it would have been glorious.
I think
to have
shoring
that in
up
the
your own
backfield
part.
too.
I think shoring up your own part of the pitch at that stage was a bit more important than trying to run a second blitzer down when you've already got one that's in a good position.
Yeah, me too.
This is where you can start looking for the blocks. So now you can take the 2 die on that guard piece, follow up, and then keep it tagged so that you make it
yeah,
even.
2 dice on the bull as well. If you
Yeah,
get
2 dice on the block piece first, and if it works, you can get 2 dice on the bull.
Yeah.
If you
I don't think I would do it though.
Why not?
2, 3, go. Well, it is a double go for it for that
Well, no, that's a catch
rookie
out.
chore. Yeah. Is
Take the
it is a
catcher on the
double
other
go for it.
side. Take the catcher on the other side.
Oh.
Mm.
But that catcher could also mark the Hobgoblin in the back, which I don't hate either. So both ways works for me.
I think keeping
It
the
is-
catcher that just got up where it is means that there isn't an easy blitz on the sidestepper.
Mhm.
Mm,
And I know he had to
there
because
is-
of short time, but I think this is the one turn Justicium showed a bit too much leg.
Yeah.
The fact that that sidestep could get next to the bull, and there's now 4 squares you have to block, or you need the pow on it.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, I don't like that dodge.
Oh,
Oh, that's a shame. But I think keeping the thrower where it was and keeping that catcher where it was made this coming turn a lot harder for Justicium.
yeah,
Because then he definitely needed a pow on the blitzer.
it wasn't the choices I would have taken at that point. I think.
Yeah.
I didn't see the relevance of that dwarf to just about anything really.
And what are you giving up? You're giving up a 1-die hit? 50% chance of a knockdown? I'm okay with giving up a 1-die hit if it means that I am threatening the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Because now this is exactly what happens.
Or you could have dodged off it, but it's also freed up that. Yeah, the bull could make a 1-die there, which freed up this dwarf. If there'd been another thing on that bull, that would have been harder. Instead of a 2-die, the bull would have had a 1-die, which is less likely, and it's all just not. It didn't help.
No. It did nothing.
No, I mean, even if it worked, I'm not sure what it really gained you.
It gained you nothing because now there's also a massive hole in the middle of the pitch.
but he can still not run down it because that's too much speed.
No, there's a. I mean, he can push the dwarf up the wing and use the hobgoblin to move things around, but it's not going to be safe.
He's got a cage.
Yeah, but that's,
Because that chuff that's standing on the sideline now comes up.
Yeah,
tags
if he
the
lets the
dodge
blitzer
catcher.
free,
Yeah.
absolutely.
2-die block.
he's not moving. He's not moving that. I don't think he's moving that. That Chop is doing a really important job. He's not free.
That
He's
blitzer
not.
that
He's
shouldn't
not.
have been there, nailed against the wall.
I'm not sure it's a proud. I will be very cautious. Knowing how Nîme plays, I think you can let him 3+2+ that catch out, that blitz out to get it back in the game. Otherwise,
Yeah, I think
it's
you're
coming
right.
straight into that sure-hand stack.
It's one of the 2 nightmare pieces because, of course, it's got
Diving tackle.
sidestep, it's got blodge, and it's diving tackle. So keeping it way out there to the side where it does sod all is good use of equity.
You
To the
might
point where it
even.
might be tempting to use something to blitz it back into
I
the
was
game.
about to say he's blitzing itself right now.
Yeah,
Because he needs it.
but now you've got to hold that cage. You've got to get this out and halt the cage progress. You can't afford him to get it into range next turn. So now everything's got to get round in front of that cage.
Yep. And it's a lot of dice as well to get the pieces back into play there.
Yeah, but there's possibilities.
This one, I think, goes and tags the hobgoblin, meaning he can slow down that cage a bit by attacking with the catcher. Yeah, absolutely. And you've only got to think about the front of it.
Well, you've got 3 catchers that've got 2+ dodges, and then 3+2+ with linemen.
Yeah, you might even take the 1 dice to make you get the other side stepper back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Chaos Dwarf blocker that's out over the dotted line is getting hit because it creates much better escapes. And ideally, if you can just tag that one, it's that's another guard that can't get into the cage. So
It's just a turn ordering thing right now. And that block is probably pretty high priority because if you can get both side steppers back into this game.
I'd be doing the 2-die on the hobgoblin first out the other side,
Yeah.
but then I'd be straight onto that 1-die, I think.
Or doing the dust, that works as well for me.
Okay, he's dodging out. He's marking up the hobgoblins. That makes sense.
I think in this instance, the dodge there gave you more than the 2-die block on the hobgoblin. Because what does the 2-die block on the hobgoblin give you?
You're following.
You tag 2 pieces.
You're following in
and
marking up
the guard.
He's either then got to hit you with the hobgoblin on a dodger, or he's using his guard, which then can't move forwards. But I see why he's done it. He's going with the 1-die last, if at all.
I definitely like this line of play better than I like the other one.
He's taking it. That's bad.
He's bringing both sides.
He gets the big old pow. Lovely. So everything's back where he needs it to be. One of the guards at least is down and out of the picture.
There's another Chorf that's completely done for.
And blocking bull is done as well.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
other guard Chorf can potentially come back into play. There's another Chorf that's locked down. It's limited in what pieces Jerome has now to work with.
Yes, but there is a joyful escape on with one hobgoblin, which I think he's probably going to have to take.
Jerome has got a 2-die block with block. Oh, no, we can just do it this way instead.
Yeah, he's,
Yeah, this is the blitz I thought we'd see.
but that's not good.
It's not ideal.
It can.
That's pretty terrible, actually.
But it's fine in the side that those two are running, and he could potentially just support to it.
Yes, well, I mean, it's the first hobgoblin and the bull have to go,
And
then it's what else does he risk coming after it? Because the hobgoblins are not going to keep not going to keep dodging elves, honest. So you may as well not touch them up, and you may as well try and get up defending the ball.
Yeah.
Obviously, the one on the diving tackle probably is going to stay. But again, it's not doing any use on it.
Are you? Because if diving tackle is used, that's free movement. I'm dodging.
Yeah, it puts him on the ground, which isn't bad, so I would probably dodge it out, but I wouldn't re-roll it. But first, I get the hobgoblin and the remaining dwarf moving.
2, 3, 4, and you get the guard. Now you at least can tag some
1, 2,
block.
3, 4. Yeah, he can tag the one you're just about to dodge away from.
Could be greedy with a go for it and tag both. Oh, the one that's already tagged.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a nice place to be, but it's already tagged.
Yeah.
Well, you can tag out the diving tackle.
That's not.
Oh, God,
No, that's you're hoping it actually either you get out or it diving tackles you and ends up on the ground. Does he re-roll that? I think you have to, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
You do,
Yes,
because
he
at this
does.
stage, Jerome is looking at the score. It's
There
in
you
front
go.
of him.
You need to. No, you cannot even do the go for it. Doesn't help because the wrestle can do assess from the front.
No, here there's no point dodging the dwarf on its own.
Ooh, I'm
I mean,
not
you
sure
can
about.
dodge it.
I don't like that.
Oof.
That's a problem because if you assess from the
That's
front
problematic.
now you can push it to the side. Oh, you
doesn't
just
matter.
off.
It does not matter.
Oh
No,
my.
there we go.
Okay,
The big 5+ worked.
but okay, that's still for. It's still a 4+
I mean, I
in
can see-
for 1 dice, and you can push the
And now
blockers
you
to the
dodge
side.
the dwarf and you tack up the wrestle catcher. Come on, you've got to do the 4+ at this point. You don't come this far and
that's a
not
huge
try the
kill.
4+.
But
Yeah, the 4+ fails. Oh, with the KO, lovely.
I
But
I
an
think
irrelevant
you
dwarf
roll-
on this drive because
1,
it's the
2,
score,
3,
isn't it, that
4,
we're looking
5,
for?
6. It's go. It's 3 2
I think Jerome
pluses.
made a mistake in the way he set up that turn. At least with the diving tackle part of it. He did the first dodge as he should have, but put it where he put the piece that dodged away from diving tackle. And then if the diving tackle does work, he can still move in just behind the sure hands bill. Because the way that he'd set up, if he failed the diving tackle dodge, he could have potentially gotten the half die into the crowd. I don't know if that's just me being overly cautious or shit and wrong. But
I'm just. Okay, that's interesting. So he's going for the 1 die from the front instead.
Looks like.
Must be, or is he coming from the side now? Instead, okay, could dodge in from the side with no block, but the bull does not block anyway. I'm a little bit
I mean,
confused.
it's not hard to get an assist on this and make it a 1 die if he's prepared to do a 4+.
It's just 2+2+ to make it assist, right?
Yeah, also, yeah.
It's
They're both
coming
coming
now.
around the front, it's better because it creates the wall in front of the ball, which
Yeah.
is good.
yeah,
But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And using
6.
that pace well.
Yeah. I can see why you want the diving tackle in tackle to 2. I've been really tempting to do the 1 dice block with the diving tackle instead, I must admit.
Yeah, form a wall in front and put a diving tackle sidestepper behind.
But it can, like on pushes, it's going to be awkward. Even just a push, if you can just get that.
Anything except a skull here is quite a good result.
Gets a push.
And you cannot really follow because then he can
No.
use it to blitz.
No.
Surely goes to the sideline.
Yeah. You definitely plop it on the sideline,
Super.
and then you don't follow.
Definitely don't like
Certainly what I would do.
And then leave everything where it is.
No, you're dodging
And there was
the,
much
you're dodging
rejoicing.
the landmine. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you can dodge
dodging.
Lyman out because
You're dodging Lion Taguila.
But okay,
Dodging that
if you're
catcher up
blitzing,
in.
maybe it's not too bad following because if you,
Well, if you blitz, you end up on the catcher, don't you?
yeah. Oh, okay, you can also dodge him first, and then dodge can move around.
Now,
And
I
then
would
do more
dodge
screaming.
the catcher, but are we going to see a hit? Because he's hit some things we wouldn't have hit.
Nah, it's surely
Oh,
not.
Andy Dabble upgraded us.
No, there we go.
It
And it's
looks like
coming
last
around
shot.
the outside. I might have stepped one more in there. But
I'm not sure what that dude from the back. I'm not sure what that long bit in the back can do. Free.
Big Kev, there's something wrong with your raid notifications because
it's
Davo raided us and it came up with nothing.
yeah, I'm with you. Elias,
Yeah.
I think, should have dodged off as well. I don't think it's doing
It-
much on that dwarf beard up at the back.
I did hear this.
Yeah, he's doing nothing there.
I did hear the sound, and if Andy is here, thank you so much for Andy for the follow. Welcome to a bit of resurrection.
Yeah, your
Now, it's
favorite.
interesting. He sidestepped the diving tackle away from the bull.
Interesting choice.
But he cannot. He's that's fine. The bull cannot run backwards, I think.
No, you can't run it back.
This is looking very overtime to me, but we'll see.
But
there may be a
because
solution I've not seen.
Because of the piece that Jerome chose to use for the block, he could have sidestepped towards the sideline, and then he would have either had to spend the blitz there,
Yep.
Yeah.
or had to spend the blitz on the wrestle piece and then have to do an insane amount of dodge.
Yeah, I think he was afraid of
Yeah.
that freeing up the hobgoblin, which I kind of understand.
The thing is, though, that I mean, it is relying on the Poe, which is a 1 die. So you do
I
the
think
1
I'd have
die.
gone next to the bull, personally. But
Yeah. From Jerome's side, I
Yeah.
think it's risky, but I think it could work. You do the 1 die on the sidestepper. Then if it is a knockdown, then you have 2 dice on the wrestle piece. Then you have a 2 die blitz.
You also got the one
On the
dice and the wrestle, and if that works,
if
then
it works,
you
Yeah,
got a free shot at blitzing
You've
free.
got-
And
Yeah.
we did see
Actually,
him.
this line is better. I hadn't seen
you'll
that
need,
one.
yeah, the 1 die on the wrestle, followed by you need a POW, and then a 2 dice on the catcher, needing POWs too.
Oh, you just need both down on the wrestle. No, you're not using.
Gets the first
No,
Poe.
he won't take wrestle. He gets the first POW.
That's
Right, so 2 die needing a POW.
we've seen that before.
And then it's the 5+4+.
No, blitzing into that, and even
Yeah.
push is not really good. You need the power.
No, a push isn't good. It needs to be a POW. With a push, there is a route that's a 4+.
And
Oh,
he
no, that
gets the power.
gets the POW
Oh
as
my
well.
wow!
Oh, poor
It's of
Nîme.
doom. And now, certainly, that diving tackle should have been behind the bull.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Although the plan would have to have changed. Yeah, and that's the win. That's the win. He did need those POWs,
Congratulations.
but he had a re-roll to try and make them if needs be.
we've seen that
I'd
before.
love to have seen if
Needing
he
the
tried
power.
it or hoarded it for the overtime.
I think that seemed to be a theme for just him in this playoff, needing a power and getting it.
Congratulations, Jerome. Commiserations, Nîme. That was definitely an interesting game to watch.
Yeah, congrats.
Yeah, that was nicely done. But again, Justicium not being tempted with the sort of opposition I want to see him facing at times.
Yeah. So does this mean we get to pick Jerome's team for next season?
Oh, surely.
That has to be a rule, Big Kev. It has to be. The winner has to let Big Kev choose their roster
Oh.
and team.
Oh my god.
Give Justicium dwarves
Oh no.
No, please do not give
because
him
they
dwarves.
can't win.
Please do not give him dwarves. Under any circumstance,
He
do
can
not
pick
give him
his own
dwarves. I
teams.
will hate you for the rest of my life.
He's a big boy.
Well done, Justicium. It was lovely coached again, but those invisible cubes that don't really exist were very firmly on your side.
Those non-existent roly cubes definitely worked in your favor, that one.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Jerome, by the way, this means that we get to pick your team and roster for next season, just so that you're aware.